Hey guys, and welcome back to Orca FPL. Game week 4 is over and was rather eventful. In this video we'll look into how my side did and some of the transfer options now we're getting close to game week 5. It's a green arrow for the third week running, albeit a smaller one than in previous weeks. I picked up 61 points this week with a game week rank of 1.7 million. This takes me to a total of 245 points and an overall rank of just around 520k. This game week was full of shock results, with West Ham getting a 3-0 win against Leicester, Spurs hitting 6 past United, and Villa thrashing Liverpool 7-2. After a largely stressful game week, my captain Salah saved it for me in the final game of the weekend. For the second week in a row, my Southampton double defence has held a clean sheet, with Alex McCarthy also picking up an extra point for 3 saves and 2 bonus points. I can't have asked for more from these guys, and I'm very pleased that Southampton appear to have tightened up in defence after the first 2 game weeks. Both McCarthy and Walker-Peters are set to stay in my team for many more game weeks, as they have some nice fixtures coming up after facing Chelsea and Everton in the next 2 game weeks. Whilst the Southampton double-up performed for me, my 2 other defenders were both on the sides of some heavy losses. James Justin only got a single point after a shock 3-0 loss to the Hammers. Given their performance against City, this is even more surprising, but then again, the season seems to be full of shocks. Alexander-Arnold's side conceded 7 goals and as such ended the game on -1 points. This was as a shock as any and came at the wrong time for Liverpool given the international break. With Alisson remaining out for a few game weeks after the break, it is very concerning to think about how Liverpool's defence will hold up. Having said that, I'm not looking to get rid of Liverpool assets, although Robertson does seem to be the stronger asset in defence due to his position being significantly further up the field. In midfield, De Bruyne blanked for the second week running, and City assets in general are a bit of a concern whilst they have no striker available. Fortunately, Aguero appears to be back in training and well on the road to recovery. Whilst many are potentially looking to move to Sterling, I think if I was to move away from De Bruyne, it would be to an Everton or Tottenham asset, or potentially both. However, for the time being, I don't see a reason to jump ship just yet. New signing Podence blanked, but he is ultimately my 4th midfielder and I'm happy to own 2 Wolves assets. I'm looking forward to seeing how Wolves look after the international break, as they were not particularly threatening when on the attack. Despite being on the end of a thrashing, Manchester United's single goal was scored by Bruno Fernandes with one of his trademark penalties. I have concerns over the quality of the United side, and even though I'm happy to own Bruno, I will want to see improvement as there are plenty of quality options around his price point. Without a doubt, my captain Mohamed Salah saved the game week for me by grabbing 26 points. The Egyptian converted both of Liverpool's goals in their heavy loss to Villa. Up front, it was a rather disappointing week with both Mitrovic and Jimenez blanking. Fortunately, Dominic Calvert-Lewin added yet another goal to his tally this season. My current plan is to save my transfer and use it next week to either replace Mitrovic or Fernandes. If I move Fernandes on, that would provide me with the funds to get 2 of the mid-price midfielders such as Rodriguez, Grealish or Son. Alternatively, there are plenty of forward options around the 6 million mark, such as Wilson, Bamford or even Brewster if I was to move to a 2-striker formation. Assuming I do not make any transfers this week and there are no injuries, my lineup will be as follows. McCarthy will remain between the sticks but will not be partnered by his Saints teammate Walker-Peters, as I'm not convinced of the chance of a positive result against Chelsea. James Justin faces Villa, and although I'm not overly sure on the potential of that game for him after the Villa performance against Liverpool, it ultimately came down to a choice between Justin and Walker-Peters, and I much prefer the fixture for Justin. Charlie Taylor comes in to face West Brom, and I'm hopeful of a clean sheet as I don't see a huge amount of points coming from defence this game week. Both Trent Alexander-Arnold and Mohamed Salah are in for the Merseyside derby, and I can see this being a high-scoring game. And as such, I'm hopeful of some attacking returns. Bruno Fernandes is facing Newcastle, and this provides Manchester United with a great option to bounce back from their humiliating 6-1 loss against Tottenham. Podence and Jimenez are facing Leeds and should be provided with a great chance to regain some attacking form, as Leeds are not a side that are particularly defensively sound and are happy to bound forward no matter the opposition. Mitrovic is facing Sheffield, who are really struggling this season with 4 losses on the trot. I'm hopeful of attacking returns, and this match could determine whether Alexandra Mitrovic stays in my side. Finishing off my forward line is Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who is facing up against his Merseyside rivals Liverpool. Whilst this is Everton's toughest fixture so far, this Merseyside derby should not disappoint. Let me know how your international break went. Did you activate your wild card? If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and consider subscribing. Make sure to keep an eye out next week as we do a review of Game Week 5 and look at our Game Week 6 preview.